Hi everyone, it's Lisa Gent here, volunteer with the Cape Elizabeth Land Trust, and today we're actually back at In by the Sea because we wanted to check and see how the eggs and caterpillars that we saw a couple weeks ago, how they're doing. So this is the spot we were at last time. The first thing that we noticed is there's been a lot of growth. The milkweed is definitely taller, a lot fuller. Noticed also that the seed pods have continued to grow and develop, and I think they're at least 2, maybe 3 times as big as they were last time. And the goldenrod, which is a favorite food of the adult monarch butterfly, these are fully in bloom now. So probably if you have any allergies, you're very aware of that. And the bees as well. Right now the goldenrod is covered with bees. So wanted to take a check, and I know that we saw, got a close-up look at an egg, monarch butterfly egg, last time we were here. I have noticed that there are a couple more eggs, but we're actually not seeing a lot of evidence of caterpillars. I'm not seeing any caterpillar poop hanging out on the leaves, and I'm not even really seeing that the leaves have been eaten very much. So I know that there's another place nearby, and I'm thinking we might go take a check at that place to see what kind of monarch activity is going on over there. So I think we're going to head over to that other spot.
My name is Derrick, and I'm the head gardener at the Inn by the Sea. And we've had the privilege of introducing being part of the Monarch Waystation into our gardening program. It makes it so interesting for guests, interesting for us as employees, and just interesting for everyone, allowing milkweed to grow in between. This was a typical foundation planting with Fothergilla azaleas and giant hostas, and nature has blown in these seeds of the milkweed, and instead of pulling them when we weed and clean the gardens in the spring, we allow wildflowers to grow, like the Queen Anne lace and the milkweed. And the milkweed gives us an extra bonus or an extra boost with the beauty of monarch butterflies. They come every year, they lay their eggs, and now we're at the stage where these gorgeous caterpillars will soon become chrysalises. And the coolest part of all is that I believe the monarchs that are born here fly all the way to Mexico. So we're in a tiny town in Maine, southern Maine, but we're part of the whole flight path of the monarch butterfly, and it connects you to a wider world of wildlife, and just is really fascinating. This is a restoration project sponsored by Inn by the Sea here in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. Approximately 12 years ago, if you'll look to my right, there's a 200-plus-year-old red oak. From that mighty oak all the way down to the strawberry fields over there, this entire patch of land was a solid block of acres and acres and acres of our #1 exotic invasive Japanese knotweed. And massive trucks came in, they removed all the Japanese knotweed. We planted 500 native trees, plants, and shrubs. Here's a Cornus cerevisiae, or red twig dogwood, fruiting. And as a huge bonus, nature planted milkweed in this field, and it planted millions of solidago or goldenrod. The goldenrod is beloved by bees. There's hundreds of them right behind me. There's bumblebees and honeybees, and produces lots of pollen. There's early blooming goldenrod, and then there's a late blooming variety too. And the late blooming variety is what the monarch butterfly uses on its migration south from the northern climates to Mexico, and in the fall they literally stop here, and this whole entire field is full of monarch butterflies. We're just going to talk a little bit about what you could do in your own corner of the world or your own backyard to create a monarch butterfly or a wildlife habitat. This, to my left, used to all be a lawn, a cultivated green lawn that was mowed and fertilized, but it is not irrigated or watered on a regular consistency or regular timing. And so here we are, 2020 August in Maine, and we are experiencing a mild drought. It's very dry. The grass has gone completely dormant, but behind the grass is a beautiful wildflower meadow. And how this wildflower meadow grew here was we just stopped mowing, and literally it was that easy. The vetch moved in, the solidago moved in, and there's shrubberies growing in here as well. We stopped mowing, and 2 years later, this gorgeous collection of wildflowers has grown, and it supports a really wide variety of wildlife. Whereas if you look at your typical American lawn, nothing can really live there. I don't even think worms live in it anymore. But here, it's an explosion of life. And it's not to say that you have to let your entire yard revert back to a meadow, but if everyone in the whole, let's say this whole town of Cape Elizabeth took 1/4 of their backyard, let it revert back to a meadow, the benefits for wildlife would be just unbelievable.